Welcome, everyone, to Regenera. Today is such a special day. Today is the fourth time Regenera rises in history. We gather together in celebration of our beautiful community coming and weaving in service of a more regenerative and just future for all of life. My name is Roxy. Sometimes in Regenera, they call me Foxy. Sometimes they call me Dandelion. Today, we'll see who comes forward. I am a part of the Council of Regenera, and I am also a co-steward of the Design Science Studio. And today, we welcome you, all who are live and all who are on our stream, into this great city of Regenera. Each year, we bring the world together and explore how we might bring our brightest, most devoted selves to intentional creativity in service of this more just world, because the future is always first an idea. And this moment began after decades of all who were tired of hearing that this is just the way things are. Like every revolution, it started with a story, because stories are our tools to model reality. And the future is always first an idea. And what's been folding and unfolding in front of our eyes is social and systemic change. We have been embarking on this big adventure, and this decade is changing the course of our species forever. At the Design Science Studio, an educational and cultural incubator for art and design science, we empower creators to imagine regenerative futures that work for all of life. And so we decided to create a space that could contain the stories of this emergent movement and the initiatives and the projects, and to invite us all to suspend our disbelief. And we called this space Regenera, a floating city that came from the sky to show us what's possible. And the movement it brought, the Regenaissance. Allow yourself to get lost into this story universe and forget the lines that separate reality from imagination. We will create the future we want together, and it all starts here. Welcome to Regenera, the heart of the Regenaissance. I just received a very special transmission from one of our beloved friends and allies, whose name is Mage. He's an important member of the Council of Regenera, one of our archivists, and really, really, really brilliant wordsmith. He put together a transmission to help us remember this myth and lore and story that is behind the city arriving. And so I'm going to share that with you all now. Many weird and unusual things happened around that 2020-2021 era. And the global pandemic was definitely not the most extraordinary. No. According to the historians of the Green Book, at the beginning of the 21st century, on the first day of the fourth moon, a city descended from the clouds. A floating city propelled by advanced natural technologies. It was a technological wonder. The entire city was powered by the sun and the wind, and the purest water ran through the streets and the canals, and the plants of all kinds of animals coexisted with humans, living in the city, packed in its lively streets. It was a city like no other. It was a wonderful balance between technology and nature, where curiosity was virtue and kindness the law. And this city appeared at a pivotal moment when humanity needed hope and a lot of knowledge to share, and potentially even the experience of living another way. And this city was called Regenera.
Gracefully displacing.
And here we are, finding ourselves at the threshold between one world and another. On Earth, some of you know me as Ari Laser, one of the core stewards of the Design Science Studio, but up here in the clouds, I wear the mantle of Geo, the official theater director of Regenera. And I'm here to invite each and every one of you on this call to join us in extending our imagination, in extending the roots of your own remembering from where you came and where you are headed. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome to our world a guest from your world, Miss Catherine Connors, a weaver of story, and in a realm where imagination births whatever you want. Story weavers are the true architects of Regeneration. Catherine, it's so lovely to be with you. How are you today?
I'm so honored to be here with you all as an emissary from a story world and as a thread of connective tissues between the worlds of story and wonder and awe and magic and craft and practice. This is a momentous moment in this world, possibly in all worlds, which we'll discover as we explore them. But in this world, on this plane, on this planet, we're at a moment of transformation, of deeply, deeply consequential transformation. In this specific place that many of us are beaming from in the United States of America, we're approaching a consequential date, the 250th anniversary of its experiment. Today, this particular day, we are celebrating Juneteenth, a remembering of a suppressed, oppressed, marginalized community, the Black community of the United States. We are approaching the summer solstice on June 21st. We're at a confluence of time and of energy and of myth in which the moment is riper than ever for our stories to weave together and to become the magic that they not only can be, but already are. We're in a moment of deep, profound, consequential manifestation. And it's my deepest honor to be here today because in this space, in this community, in this field of generation and regeneration and creation and recreation, of remembering that as members of a community and of a body, we are not just the pieces of that body. We are the fleshy parts. We are the soft parts of that body. And we are always of a greater body, a greater ecosystem of bodies, a greater field of bodies, a greater universe of bodies. And as we come together today to remember, and over the coming days to create and to imagine and to dip fully into the pool of wonder and whimsy and possibility, we're about to open up new space, new bodies, new modes of transformation, new ways of being with each other that pull from the eternal past and the eternal future and all of the fields that we draw upon. So, yes, this is a magical, magical moment, but it is also a deeply human moment. It is a deeply alive moment. It is a living moment between us, the more than human creatures of this field, and the more than human and other than human creatures and beings of all fields, in which we bring our powers together into the mode of story living and story being. Welcome to you all.
Thank you so much, Catherine. It is an absolute pleasure to be here with you all today as we get to hear the culmination or the waypoint of the many, many, many projects that have been given birth in this year's Design Science Studio, and the many projects that are being tended by our wider community. It is such an honor to sit amongst you, and it's such an honor to get to see where your journey of imagination, creativity, and deep, deep tending of our shared soil has taken you. So, without further ado, it is my absolute pleasure and delight to welcome our first presenter to the stage. Malcolm Knapp is an engineer, teacher, systems thinker, and sense maker. He works across the boundaries of engineering, art, economics, and community, searching for integration. With us today, he presents Finding the Future, inviting us to go beyond apocalypse and see the new positive world story already being made. Malcolm, welcome.
Wonderful to be here, and wonderful to talk with you all. What I'll do is we'll share my screen and we'll get started. Okay. So just first, a little bit about me. My background is engineering, but I didn't start as just, in my garage. I actually became an engineer in art class, and was never interested in the sort of just getting it to work, but also how does it fit into all the other pieces? So throughout my whole life, it's always what is the broadest view to take? And how can I think about the system that this is part of? And what are the effects of whatever is being made? How does that affect the system as well? And that comes back into this idea of sense making and understanding the underlying structure of the situation, and then synthesizing that and understanding how to sort of reveal that structure more fully. And so that's where Finding the Future is sort of coming from. That's the sort of ground it grows from. But to sort of get to that, what I wanted to do was start here.
Winter storm could bring damaging heavy snow and ice to more than half of the United States this weekend.
The main actions to take now are to
stunning new
family,
video shows this
your
Michigan
home,
neighborhood completely submerged.
At least
under
182
mountains
million
of snow.
people in
Here,
25 states are under alert.
The death toll from flooding in Texas has now surpassed 100 people.
Deepening crisis in the Middle East and now fresh strikes on natural gas prices.
This is time-lapse showing just how fast the floodwaters rose when the rain started on Friday. Over natural gas farms suffered extensive damage in just 45 minutes.
It's a major blow to an energy supply chain which is being upended.
The death toll from flooding in Texas has now surpassed 100 people.
Police say at least 104 people have died, and that includes 28 children. This is time-lapse video showing just.
This is what we feel like all the time. We're overwhelmed and surrounded by these stories. This feels like all there is we can look at when we look out to the future. But as I was looking into this, I found a deeper issue. I started out wanting to join in, and started looking at climate change and looking as an engineer, like, how could I be part of this? But when I got into this, I saw like everybody was having to make these big changes of the world. We have this apocalypse that is coming, and we need to change vast parts of society to avoid that apocalypse. But when I got into that and saw that, I said, wait, what is the future going to look like if we succeed? If all this works, all the things we want to do work, where do we get to? And there was no story there. And that's the thing that I realize is we don't actually have a story of what could be good. The only stories we have are what could be bad. And in that situation, when we say we have to make these changes, but we don't have a story about how the results will be, only negative stories can so easily fulfill the gap. And so that is what I'm responding to. And with this question, what if there was a good future for us? And if you think about this, that is one of the 100% absolute possibilities. Out there, in all the futures that are there, we can find a good future for humanity. And that's what Finding the Future is going to do. This is what I'm working on. And how do we do that? What I say is that we just have to collect that future. It's already here. We just have to find all the pieces and put them together. And so that's what we do in Finding the Future. I want to get everyone's piece. Everyone has a piece. And I invite you all to join in. And I go through this process. You'll see that there's other sessions later in Regenaissance Rising where we do this. But I'm collecting pieces of that future from everybody. And what we're going to do is we'll see how they all add up. So out of that Finding the Future process, we get visions of the future, a piece, one piece of the future, and we get one piece of the systems that we'll actually have to build to get there. And we'll collect all those pieces. Those are the sort of atoms we have to work with. And we'll generate those and compile those and see how they all relate to each other. And out of the visions, we will create a collective, collaborative world story or stories. And out of the pieces of the systems we need to build, we'll create together the seeds of the future. And each seed is the smallest self-sustaining system we can make now that can grow into the future that we want. Because if it can survive and grow, then it can actually grow across the whole world. And that is what I call the realistopia. That is the real place we can get to. And so that's what I want to do with the Design Science Studio, with Regenaissance Rising, is I want to have one of these world stories be from this community. I want to have one of the seeds be the Design Science Studio seed. And I'm starting during the Regenaissance Rising. We'll be going through creation, and from now till the end. And at the end of this process, we will read the story we created together. We will read that world story. So, and you can start. I invite you to add your piece today at 12:30. And if you can't do it today, you can come Saturday or Sunday. And we will start building this story together. So that is Finding the Future. This is me. You can see the project page there. And if you want to join in and build the seed with me, you can go to findingthefuture.net, and you can actually be part of making the future, making that realistopia. Thank you.
That was incredible, Malcolm. It's been such an honor to be a part of what you've been creating and ideating, and to be able to participate in this way of thinking that's so protopian and so hopeful, which is what we all need right now. That was fantastic. Thank you. And now I want to introduce Freedom Begins in the Imagination with Kim Carson. Kim is an AI futurist, a strategist, founder, speaker, and author, working at the intersection of machine intelligence, education, equity, and collective imagination. She's the founder of Kim's AI Imaginarium, where she explores how AI can deepen human creativity, expand civic participation, and help communities imagine more regenerative futures. Her career spans leadership across global technology, education, venture building, and public institutions, IBM, University of California. She translates complex systems into bold, human-centered possibilities and brings a rare mix of executive experience, cultural insight, and future-facing vision. Her work asks a simple but urgent question: how do we shape AI in ways that honor human dignity, widen authorship, and support a future that works for all of life? Please join me in welcoming Kim.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. I'm so excited to be here with all of you. Let me share really quickly. So, thank you for being here. This is a special day for me. It's Juneteenth. If those of you who don't know, happy Juneteenth to everyone. And it made me start thinking about freedom, and how freedom asks to be not only remembered, but practiced and protected and imagined. So today I want to explore a little bit about AI, not as a productivity trend or a technical space, but more as a possible instrument for collective imagination and civic repair together. Let's see. Awesome. So every system we live inside, as you all know, began with an idea that someone came up with and believed enough to organize power. We've imagined borders and markets and race even, ownership, legitimacy, and exclusion. So long before a thing becomes policy or a platform, or even an institution, it begins as a story. And that story gets made durable. So when we talk about regenerative futures, we're also talking about imagination, because imagination for me is where these systems actually begin. So where are we today? We live in a moment of astonishing technical acceleration, as you all know, but it's not the same as moral, civic, or spiritual maturity. Many people have been invited to describe what they desire for the future with specificity and with other people. And we're practicing less about how we imagine together. It's becoming more of a thing where one lone person gets to imagine what the future will become. And that's a deeper crisis, I feel, beneath the technology conversation, is about losing the collective and what the collective means in terms of imagination. So the models are going to get smarter. We know this. The tools are going to get faster. We know this too. That part is already kind of underway. The more important question is, what kind of civilization do these tools actually reinforce? Who's at the table? When we talk about imagination, if it's fearful, shallow, extractive, I loved Malcolm talking about story and positive stories. This is a big, as this Trekkie from a long time ago, this is a big thing for me, right? Like, where's our Star Trek of today? How do we look at things that are more inclusive and tools that will actually help us scale the habits that make us more inclusive and allow us to imagine together? AI does not arrive outside of our culture. It actually enters the social body and inherits our values. And so if we're not at the table, what kinds of values are actually being reflected in the tools that are shaping us? If we train our tools inside these systems of extraction, they will learn extraction. We already know this. We're already seeing this. If we point them towards domination, then they're going to refine domination, right? But there is another possibility. AI can help communities hold complexity, sense patterns, and translate knowledge, and actually prototype futures that don't exist yet. What I really want to talk about is whether AI is able to be a part of our story. So I talk a lot about kind of this idea of all the intelligences with AI being a new one to the table. And we want to place AI into a regenerative story, not into a story where it actually goes dreadfully wrong. We want to break good, not break bad here. So why Juneteenth? Juneteenth reminds us that freedom is about the proclamation that happens when the truth reaches the body. The horizon shifts. People begin to inhabit a possibility that was always theirs, even when they didn't know about it. Every liberation has a struggle and has depended on the ability to imagine dignity before it was recognized and before the freedom was legal. The most interesting use of AI is not producing language faster or flooding the world with synthetic slop and content. The most interesting use is whether it can help us with the participation and widening the participation of people into the act of imagining what the future looks like together. Can it help neighborhoods visualize safety beyond punishment? Can it help young people tell richer stories about the worlds that they want to actually inherit and help to build? Can it help communities move from vague longing to shared design? That's what I would like to see AI do. Imagination, why collective imagination and why I talk about collective imagination is because I really don't think it's an indulgence. It's actually where the work begins. Excuse me. And when imagination is shared, it becomes a civic force. It becomes design, movement, policy, art that recognizes perception and longing and things that we want. It actually becomes a language that people can gather inside, and it gives us a future before that future hardens into what we now know as an institution. Shared imagination is actually infrastructure. Every tool contains an anthropology. It tells a story about what a person is. Are we primarily consumers, workers, and data sources that to be optimized? I think that's the kind of present that we're living in. Or are we creators and relations and memory bearers and participants in an unfolding world, an unfolding planetary that doesn't belong to just us as humans? It actually belongs to the entire planet and beyond. The answer we give to that question will shape the future of AI more than any capability or any benchmark ever will. In a regenerative frame, Intelligence is not measured just by output, compression, and efficiency. I have a whole a tome about efficiency and the myth of efficiency. It's measured by dignity and whether that dignity expands, whether our aliveness deepens, whether people can shape the conditions that shape them. The future question is not whether a machine can think like a person. It's whether people can remember how to think like a community. So my invitation is simple, but it's not easy. Use these tools to recover memory, not produce novelty. Use them to imagine together in collectives and community, not just optimize by yourself or alone. Use them to prototype what justice, belonging, and a regenerative future could look like and feel like before policy and before the capital even catch up. Use them to coordinate across difference, to shorten repair and support repair. We don't need AI to replace human meeting. We need it at best to accompany human possibility. And so last, I'll just leave you with this. Freedom does not begin at the edge of technology. It does not begin when institutions finally catch up. It begins in the imagination, in the sacred, the stubborn human ability to see beyond the script that we were given. It begins when people gather and dare to describe a future that does not yet have permission to exist. And if we are wise, that is what we will meet where we will meet AI too, not as a master or an oracle, not as destiny, but as one more imperfect and powerful instrument that might help us compose a future more worthy of life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kim. It is absolutely one of the foundational pressing questions of our time and of this moment. And to offer that gift and that invitation to recognize our agency in our emancipation and our agency in the emancipation of all of those to whom we share our future with, I think is a really beautiful thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It is now my pleasure to welcome to the stage Della Burford. Della is an award-winning, best-selling Canadian artist and author of 8 books. She studied interior design in New York, textiles in Alberta, and education at Queen's. Productions/storytellings have been in New York, Japan, Korea, Canada, Guatemala, Mexico, and Bali. Most of her work has been created from dreams, and she encourages others to do the same. With Design Science Studio, she has shared her stories in Topias, New Art City, storytelling, theater, fireside chats, storytellings, and animation. So nice to be with you today, but Della.
Yeah, thanks, Harry. Can you hear me all right?
You're a little bit quiet, but we can hear you.
Oh, good. Just turning my phone off. Yeah, it's great to be here and working with me on this project of Earth Action now is John Van Meter, who I hope will join me. And Stoopy is going to come, but I had the time I told him around noon, so hopefully he'll arrive. Anyways, Earth Action is the Earth Action video that has been created by John Van Meter is looking at my Earth Action book. I don't know whether you can see this right now, but there it is. I'm in it. And the Earth Action book is something that was created around a children's book that I've written called Magical Earth Secrets. And it's the story of a small eagle child that lost his power and strength with pollution. And so the power and the strength of the eagle child has to be gained by meeting all of the different elements. And as it meets the elements, it meets the elementals who tell it the secrets to take care of the earth and take care of the water and the air and all the parts of nature. So that story then I wanted to be able to put something that would become an educational assistance for teachers and for homeschoolers and for parents to be able to teach the children and themselves about the environment. So I started to write the guide, and I did it at the space camp, the Buckminster Fuller Space Camp. And that was sort of, well, I did sort of various versions, but one really important version was at the space camp. And I was working with many people there. And finally, John decided he would do a reading of the whole guide, and he read the whole guide in another one of the cohorts. And this time we decided, yes, let's put it together showing some of the other aspects of the guide, which is art activities, drama activities, music activities are encouraged. Art activism is really encouraged in the guide. And the guide is dedicated to Buckminster Fuller, who I have met, and he is a tremendous inspiration to me. And so we've included lots of different aspects of Bucky's work, Dymaxium, parts of it, part of his work, and even some other activities that are sort of working from that, like the World Energy Game. We have a World Energy Game for the classroom, and there's lots of different things in the guide. So it's a combination of educational things, storytelling, creating mandalas, and really acknowledging organizations that are really helping the environment. There's a couple of organizations that people are involved with that are part of this group. For instance, Remote Energy with Neera Misra. She's an ambassador there. We mentioned that in the guide. And Jill Vanderbilt, who's part of the Youth Fellowship with UNICEF, is mentioned, because they're doing 30 young people now are doing incredible action to help the environment. So we like to acknowledge that in the guide as well. Anyways, I'd love to show you a little bit of this video that John has created for this salon. And where are you, John? I know you're here. Are you here? Maybe he could come up with me.
Yeah, let's find him.
Yeah. And he's got a video prepared that we can look at to show a little bit of the guide. It's not to, he can't show everything, but it does show a little glimpse, and that's fantastic. And if anybody would like to use the guide in their work, let me know. And I'd love it to be shared in as many ways as possible.
Beautiful. You know, I believe that John is still in a breakout room, but I have the video ready to play.
Right. Oh, where is John? He should be here.
It's he's hiding in another corner of Regenera. Maybe if you'd like, one of us can go and go and retrieve him.
Retrieve him.
One of our lovely stage managers can go and check in on John and see if he can come into the main room.
Yes, he should be here at the end.
But either way, Della, we are able to start that stream.
Perfect. Perfect.
And we will do that.
Yeah, and then afterwards he can speak because he has put a lot of effort into this. I'd really like him to be acknowledged.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, and
Beautiful.
Stephen too, if he's here somewhere. Maybe
Okay, beautiful. Okay, I just got instructions, updated instructions. So we're going to start this to share this video, and then we will do a little pause, share a little bit, and then we'll share more. I just want to say for everybody tuning in, and also to you, Della, it's just been so incredible to witness how collaborative you always are, and you're always pushing the medium. And it reminds me of one of my teachers when I did my BFA and I got my bachelor's in fine art, who was always telling me, keep pushing the thing you made. And I watch you do that. You take a story and you turn it into a book, and then you turn it into like a whole enacted play with like youth and costumes, and then next thing it's a three-dimensional animated, installation, and then it's a video, and then you're pushing you're always like welcoming the spirit of the story into so many mediums, and it brings you to collaborate with so many magnificent people across so many different cultures. I think that's what part of the magic of this community is. It's so intergenerational, and there's so many different cultures collaborating. So just acknowledging you for that spirit, which is so important for all that we're creating. We're not doing this in isolation. We're doing it together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fabulous. And I've been lucky to have this story performed in New York City and also performed in Japan. And we're going to be seeing a little bit of a video from Japan that was done at an outdoor concert that is part of what John has created. So you get a feeling of that.
Gorgeous. Well, we'll start with this section. Yeah.
Earth Action. Show Your Love for the Earth by Della Verford.
Dale Bertrand. Music, Richard Strupy Pohl.
Dedication to Buckminster Fuller, who has been an inspiration to many. He believed we must have spontaneous cooperation without any damage to the environment and without disadvantage to anyone, using nature as an honored teacher. His work became for humanity when realizing he was part of the universe. May his works encourage others to make their work for humanity and all living things.
Once upon a time, there was an eagle child called Rainbow Wing. One hot day, Rainbow Wings felt thirsty and went for a drink in the lake. But the water was not clean, and Rainbow Wings felt dizzy and sick. The air was also polluted. You must go and meet the little people of the 4 directions to get your strength again. Earthseed said, "Here's the secret words. I and the earth are one. I love the earth. I will take care of the earth. I and the earth are one. I love the earth. I will take care of the earth." The eagle child felt the earth's energy. The eagle child said, "I will do my best."
The season wheel turns, spring eggs become chicks, summer flowers blossom. Fall leaves turn color and fall. In winter, the bear takes a rest and sleeps and dreams. A flower dies, but its seeds go back to the earth. Spring seeds can sprout again. The season wheel turns. What is the best time to rest? To start something new and flower. The waste not wheel. The energy to keep the waste not wheel turning over and over again is coming from the sun, water, wind. Conserve nature's gifts that provide us with energy to live the life we want to live. When we throw garbage away, we are throwing away valuable resources. Recycle, reduce, and upcycle. Conserve and compost. Let the waste not wheel turn. Why is recycling, reducing, and upcycling important? Buckminster Fuller. Buckminster Fuller was an inventor, architect, mathematician, futurist, and author. He is best known for the geodesic dome. Bucky popularized the term spaceship Earth to emphasize, like a spaceship, the Earth is traveling at enormous speeds, that we are all crew members on spaceship Earth. We need to work together to take care of our small spaceship and protect our resources. Dymaxion House. Buckminster Fuller designed a round house which combined the words dynamic, maximum, and tension to arrive at Dymaxion. Your Dymaxion house. Design the interior of a Dymaxion house. This house is a circular house designed by Bucky. Find a photo of something you love in nature. Look at the colors, shape, and textures of it and its surroundings. Use these colors, shapes, and textures in choosing furniture, flooring, colors, and accessories for your Dymaxion house.
Art activity. Love the Earth mural. Choose one endangered animal you love the most. Draw and color it. Each child in the class does his or her own unique drawing. Cut it out. Use for a pattern. Trace around the pattern on felt with chalk. Northern Canada Wilderness Committee. People that published magical earth secrets. Protecting wilderness and endangered animals. Major activists in Canada. These are the principles of regenerative farming, and this is a map of the regenerative farms in Canada currently. Sweetwater whispered the secret words, "I and the water are one. I love the water. I will take care of the water." The eagle child saw, as well as the red, a beautiful orange color was on its wings. The water cycle turns. The sun heats the water. Some of the liquid gains enough energy to change into water vapor. The water vapor rises, cools, and becomes clouds. The water vapor in the clouds becomes liquid and sometimes freezes, becomes snow and hail. The sun heats the water wheel turns. Is the water and the air connected? The food chain wheel. The food chain wheel turns. The bald eagles eat salmon. The salmon eat herring. The herring eat zooplankton. The zooplankton eat phytoplankton. The sun's energy keeps phytoplankton and the algae green.
So Della, they told us to pause at this point so that we could hear a little bit from you about the food chain wheel.
Yeah, well, actually, when I was creating the guide of the Earth Action, I decided that it's totally amazing that in our life is full of circles, mandalas everywhere. There's the food chain wheel, which is one big circle going on. The water cycle is a circle. All of these circles we are surrounded by. So I tried to think of a way of showing that, and that's why I did the drawings for the different wheels. And I think there's about 12 of them in the book. But there's John. Hey, God touch John. He's the one that took this book of Earth Action, and he's actually read the whole book, and which I have a link to in my Topia page. But this is, of course, showing a little bit of the theater and a little bit of the art, and I think we should talk to him.
Well, yeah, this was a wonderful challenge because I went back and revisited the work I had done 2 years ago, and different machine, different skill level, different program, and I could see where it could be improved, and I'm still working to improve it. I was I was, working on this, and it's still a work in progress, but the entire video is on YouTube. And as I come up with the new and improved version, that's going to be posted as well. And I just love being trusted with this work by Della and being able to communicate all these regenerative theories and practices. And the second part of the video is going to have more about renewable energy, as well as different participants in our own design science studio that have reached out to be in partnership with Della.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, it's totally amazing to have someone like John to work with, and Stoopy too. He's somewhere around here, but he did the music for us, and we also had sound by Layla Paper, who was a great assistance in creating some of the bird sounds and some of the other beautiful sounds we have in the thing. And I think that your idea, John, of including some of the nonprofits groups, as I had mentioned earlier, like Remote Energy, with Neha is an ambassador in that, and Jill, who is working with the 30, I guess there are 12 students that are young people from 15 there's one 10-year-old, one 12-year-old, 15 to 30, and they're learning all about the climate and different things on climate change, and they're going to be really bringing this to the world. And she's a force, an amazing force in making this all happen. And there's so many others, so many other people, but to acknowledge them and mostly to thank John for his dedication and work on this. Without you, this would not be a video today. So thank you. And thanks Struby for the music. He is amazing. And Layla for her sound. Thank you.
The sun brings forth a new day. The food wheel turns. How are we connected to each other? Why is the sun and water important to all living things?
Fly's Eye Dome. This dome structure was designed by Buckminster Fuller in 1965. He was designing with the idea of creating an affordable and portable home of the future. The name he has called it is the Fly's Eye Dome. It has a structure like the eye of a fly when looked at under magnification. It has openings in which solar panels could be used. Also, these openings could be a system for water collection. Dymaxion car. Buckminster Fuller invented a car called the Dymaxion. It was a most unusual shape, and he told his daughter it could be called a zoomer, as he really wanted it to be used on land, water, and even in the air. Bucky really wanted to do more with less and designed it to use less gas. Today, I'm sure he would use solar energy and come up with some incredible car inventions using new ideas.
Creative Movement Activity Card. Water Dance. Remember the water secret? Study the water cycle wheel. Sit in a circle. Feel yourself become a wave. With your hands moving, whoosh in and out. Make the sound of the ocean. Feel the freedom of moving water. Be the dolphin or a fish in the water. Different children can be sun rays, rainmakers, lakes, and snowflakes. Think of a water dance. Dale and Della did a Love the Water project at Departure Bay School in Nanaimo. They took water from the ocean and did ocean painting, then did a painting of their favorite sea creatures and fish, collaged it into the painting.
Of the blue. Well, I have to mix the blue up with my brush, and then I take a little bit and I drop it on the page. You see that? Now you don't need a lot of paint, but the paint starts to move with the water. You see how it's moving with the water? Whoa. And Dale's going to go around with some of those colors. They've got another kind of a look. And he'll go around and he'll help to use a little bit of that too if you want to use it. We've got
Drama activity. Make a magical earth secret play. I have read this story of the Eagle Child. Now think of how you can put on a play or a skit. Think of the little people of the four directions: Earthseed, Sweetwater, Love Wind, Sunray, Starbird, and Crystal Wish. Make many costumes and masks. Put on a magical Earth secret play. Have each class do a different part. Make an animal dance with Earthseed, water dance with Sweetwater, fire dance with Sunray, wind dance with Love Wind, and star fairy dance with Starbird. Parts of the stories can be narrated and parts sung and danced. Degeneration to regeneration. Subsistence farmers in coastal areas rely heavily on the production of seaweed, but seaweed industry is inherently unreliable at a local level. Crop yields are irregular, crop insurance is non-existent, and climate change-related marine heat waves can wipe out entire seaweed crops in a matter of weeks. Marine permaculture has the power to limit the damage of marine heat waves, thereby making seaweed-dependent communities more climate change-proof by boosting crop yields and enabling year-round cultivation.
Della Burford is a Canadian artist and author based in Vancouver Island. She studied interior design at NYSID, textiles at U of A, education in the artist community of BEd program at Queen's University. She learned Mischtechnik of the Flemish and Italian Renaissance painters in Vienna. She taught interior design for 6 years at Humber College. Her first book published, Writing and Art, in the 1977 Journey to Dodo Land, won a PIA Award for Design. Dale Bertrand was born in Prince Rupert, BC, and raised in California and Western Canada. He studied photography at 3 small schools, Toronto, and desktop publishing at Ryerson. He has photographed in Wales, Japan, India, Hawaii, Guatemala, Peru, Thailand, Mexico, and Bali.
John Van Meter is an experienced video editor, photographer. He studied the works of Bucky Fuller since 1982, reading and comprehending Synergetics and Critical Path, among other works. His current project is Magic Shelter. Richard Stroopy Pohl is a permacultural folk musician, dancer, capoeirista, philosopher, poet who dove deeply into synergetics and absorbed Bucky's writings. Since then, he's been actively making structures to understand, comprehend, discover and play with them and educate others. Now he lives in a remote garden where he can use general principles to develop regenerative tiny houses, compost, etc. He has also been looking for crafts and technologies that he can integrate, as well as Taoist philosophy as ancient synergetic descriptions of the cosmos. Layla Paper. Layla has a background in DJing, sound design, and stage production. She has done sound for the Magical Dodo Galaxy 3D installation in Newark City. She has done sound design for the video production of Earth Action, a video guide to love and protect the Earth. She has most recently assisted in the latest edit of the Topia sites by Della Burford, Earth Action and Star Galaxy for the World.
Fantastic. Well done, John. Thank you so much for putting your love and energy into that. And I think Stroopy is here now. I see his name. I don't know. But anyways, I guess there he is. Yay, Stroopy. So lovely to have that wonderful sound that you create, Stroopy, coming throughout this, and in the extended version of it, it will be there too. So thank you so much. And thank you, John, again. I have a lot of people to thank. Roxy, thank you.
It's wonderful to work with such a talented crew. I mean, we're coordinating from across the world, and it's really wonderful to have the talent pool that I can pull from to highlight and try and focus.
Yeah, that's excellent. Thank you.
That was amazing, you guys. And I want to say first, happy Juneteenth 2026. I'd rather be nowhere else in the world than with my fellow unicorns. And so, Miss Della, I think all things are circular. I love to hear anytime you storytell. And Earth Action book and video, I heard each one throughout your presentation. So thank you so very much for that. And so I'm going to be introducing back Mr. Malcolm Knapp. He's going to be presenting Finding the Future, Go Beyond the Apocalypse, and See the New Positive World. The story already is being made. And join in and add, I say, your piece. So Malcolm Knapp is an engineer, teacher, and systems thinker, and sense maker. He works across the boundaries of engineering, art, economics, and community, searching for integration. And please welcome back Mr. Malcolm Knapp.
It's great to be back. For anybody, I presented early, or who's new, I presented a little bit earlier again, but what we're going to be doing here today, or this sort of in this part, is actually a sort of interactive session. Will be a creation session for the regenerative world story as part of Finding the Future. So what we want to do is, for anybody who has not, was not in the earlier session, just a quick background on me. As I said, my background's engineering, but it's never been just engineering. I've always been interested in sort of the whole picture, and how does engineering interplay with politics and economics and sociology. And this is reflected in the training that I went through. I did a combined degree in liberal arts and engineering and electrical engineering. But now I'm applying that sort of system view to what can we talk about? How do we figure out what the future is? And this is the process that I've come up with. So this is, as we zoom out, this is what, this is Finding the Future right here. And this is what we'll go through to look at and help sort of add your pieces to the world story and help us think about the systems we need to build to actually get there. So, there's these 4 steps, but as you can sort of see, it's a spiral, actually. It keeps on going. And so some of you may have done this already, but I invite you to add another piece. Part of this is that you can keep on going around and doing the process. And every time you go around the spiral, you actually see different things, and some new things come up. And so, the more pieces we have, the more clear we can see that future that we want to get to. But I don't want to do this. What I want to do is actually stop sharing now, because most often when I do this, I actually use, I go to events and I walk around with a box and talk to people and get their pieces and add them in. But we can't do that on Zoom. And so what we can do instead is get as close as we can to a sort of physical process. And so I'm going to do a manual presentation and present as if I was, Google Slides or something like that. So the first thing, though, is this is interactive. So everyone should get something they can write with, or I have a link that you can download and print the cards that we'll be using. So I'll put that in the chat. So let's just everyone take a moment and go find something. Go find something. When you found it, you can hold it up and I can see that you have it. So the link is in the chat. You should be able to download. There's a sort of, there's a PDF. And so yes, so in the chat, there's a question. Yeah, so I'm doing this all 3 days. There's different audiences. You can, again, do it more than once. But yeah, in the chat, the link is to a drive. And so there'll be a PDF and a JPEG, so whichever one's easiest.
Malcolm.
Yeah, yes.
Is it all right to go into gallery mode?
Yes, that's what I want. I was about to say. I want to go gallery mode for this.
That's fun. And then we can see each other too. It's good to see your
Exactly.
faces.
Yes.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Hi, Strippy.
So what I do in the end, we'll do gallery mode, and then but I do want to go to the multi-speaker. So when you are speaking, you can, because there'll be a chance to talk. Again, this is interactive. So but yeah, we should be in gallery mode right now.
And Malcolm,
yes.
Sorry to jump in as well. It looks like I need access to get into this Google Drive. So I wonder if you just want to check your settings and make sure that everyone
Yes,
can
I checked the settings earlier today and it worked. So let me just confirm.
Totally.
I'm not sure if that rain sound was on purpose, but
it does say ever
portaled in.
That. So let's try this. Okay, try again.
No, still need access.
Okay. So then here is a direct link to the actual. There we go. There is.
That one's successful.
Okay. Yeah, so these are the direct links to the files. You'll see one is a PDF and one is the second is a PDF, the other one is a JPEG. So whichever one you can print easier. But everybody has so everyone who has their thing, hold it up. Yes? Okay, great. So we will spend 1 more minute and see if we can get people to get theirs printed, because that took a second.
And I will just quickly screen share so people can see it for anyone who's on the live stream.
Yeah.
This is the thing that we are now trying to write in our notebooks.
Yes.
It's like this.
So, well, I was going to lead people through this. So if you didn't, if you have something in your live streaming, you can do this as well. I was going to show what the prompts were in just a moment, but it's great to see the cards as well. Everyone has printed. We're able to print. Great. So you haven't. So what we'll do is we'll get started with the actual presentation. So remember, I'm Google Slides now. So here's our first section of this.
Will you show it one more time?
Yeah. Okay. So for all you who are writing, this is the thing to write. And I'll put this in the chat as well. But the first thing to do is when you write that down is to take a moment and sort of think about that for a second. Because as we sort of said, for me, the act of writing that makes it come into existence. And so that's the thing to think about as we start this, is to imagine yourself there. Take that moment, you close your eyes, and we're in that future. We made it. You know, all the crises and issues that we were dealing with right now are being addressed. There's a way to do that. They may not be solved or completely there, but we know what to do. And to take a moment and to think about and sort of observe how that feels in your body. You can let go of all the things we're dealing with right now. So for answering, so right now, I'll tell you when you can sort of, we're gonna, right now, the first thing to do is just contemplate, think about being in the good future. We'll talk about what we're gonna write down in just a second. But yeah, you'll write it down on your own piece of paper or the cards if you printed those. But now, for everybody, be there, breathe there, and then speak out, like unmute yourself and tell us what it feels like to be in that future.
Less pavement.
Good.
Pollination.
Yeah.
You say pollination? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I
But
say good,
yeah.
good pollination.
Well, but this is good. The thing is about feeling in your body first. So this is not about what the world is like yet. This is more about what it feels like to be there, to live, to be existing there.
The air smells clean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel joy.
Mm-hmm. Great.
My nervous system feels settled.
Mm-hmm.
My spine feels like all in between the vertebra is water. It's fluid and easeful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel
Miss
happy.
Jennifer says pollination is still good for her. That's great. Belonging. Wonderful.
I feel happy.
Yeah. Good. So this is the thing, is to say that future, that feeling, is one of the possibilities we have. It's absolutely certain that that's one way this can alter now. And so if you take nothing away from this moment, take that away. Because otherwise, you know, as we said, the world is so full of these horrible stories and dystopias, and those can feel like they overwhelm us. But the good future is one way we can get there. We can find it. So that's the first part. And so the next part is, imagine yourself, you woke up in that future, you're there, and now you walk out your door and you're in your neighborhood. And what is the one thing, you know, so then here is the next prompt. Here is the next prompt. So this is the what to write down on your paper. Okay. I put it in the chat as well, so you can see it there. And so this is the thing, you walk out and you say, in your neighborhood, what is one thing that you would want to be there, that you would want to exist in that good future? For you, for yourself. And so that's what you write down below that prompt. And so see, it's very good as well. Be like specific, like in my neighborhood, like my street. You start with on my street, on, I'm on Acton Street. So on Acton Street, here's what I see. In, my city, in Berkeley, where I'm at. Start with that and think about what, not just what would you see in the world that you would allow you to know you're in the good future. Great. So write that down. So we'll spend a minute and we'll get everybody to sort of think about that. And so this is why I wanted to share is that, this is the pieces that I want. This is the thing that I want to collect. Because this is what the future is made out of, each of these pieces. And so, maybe I'll have one more minute, and then if you're ready to go, I want you to say what it is and then hold it up, because that's the thing is I want to actually capture what is written down. If you're able to. If you can't, then you put it in the chat or you just speak it. But it'd be great to be able to actually get to see what is physically written. We're trying to be, again, as close to reality as possible. Okay. Anybody who would like to start? Okay, so I can read one from the chat. We have Anamont says, where urban life and cities are green, lush, playful, creative, and safe. Right? Does anybody have one they want to show? Okay, Scott, I see you. So unmute and say it as well.
On my street, I'd like to see a cat park.
A cat park? Okay.
A cat park, a place where I can take my cats.
Great. Okay, so now hold it up so I can see it, because I want to actually get a picture of this. Great. Okay, great. Who's next? Okay, John?
Yeah, just a second.
Okay.
Because I try to hold it up and it disappears with my background.
Okay, ready? Okay, let's see here.
So
if it's directly in front of your chest, John, then it will think it's part of you.
No rent on owned houses.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Yeah, you can raise your hand and we can spotlight you, and this is great. Okay, or just speak out there. So anybody else? We have in the chat as well, we have Ms. Kennetha says, safe, decent, sanitary right to housing for all humans that are not nomadic, and even spaces for them too. We have Laura says, harmony among neighbors and green spaces. And Hannah says, some sort of sanctuary for animals of all kinds in my house. And yeah, Animat says another one. Great. Every person can own land and build their own house. So who else wants to speak theirs or show theirs on the camera?
I couldn't tell if you were trying to unmute Elizabeth. Oh, Kane.
One.
I saw a hand up.
Yes.
Ooh, this
Okay,
is a
hold it right
good
in front of you.
one.
Hold it right in front of you.
Right. Oh, make sure it's in front of your chest, and you have to stand up. It'll take
Region
it
area
part
is
of you.
like
There you
all
go.
parks are food forests.
Yeah.
There
Oh,
for your
wait.
photo.
Okay, great. Wonderful. This is great. Okay, let's have a few more. Okay, we have one. Param is up. About muted.
Hello, it's Parham.
Okay.
I thought it would be maybe important to write it in other languages, so I could bring Farsi.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
This basically reads fruits and vegetables on every corner available for use by every human.
I love it. Okay, great. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, Miri says holistic space for well-being and mental health, mutual cars and reciprocity between neighbors, community gardens, green spaces. Okay. Now, okay, great. Let's do like one last one. But I think also just to say that this is one of the key parts is that everybody has their own good future across the world. And that's part of what this world story is about, is that this is not about me saying what the future should be. This is about all of us saying what the future should be for ourselves, for our place. And so we want to take each of these pieces, and that's the what we have to work with. Okay. And the last ones? Okay, let's move on because we have more to get to. So what we'll talk about now is to say that keep that piece in mind. Oh, we have Harlan, sorry. Harlan says, not only food forests and produce are available, but people cooking and sharing food for free to anyone. And I second John, no rent on housing, it should be free. Great, amazing. Marriott says integrated high quality healthcare for all. So the thing is that that's the goal. That's the thing we want to get to, building that future. And so that's the thing to keep in mind, because we have to go to the second part of this, which is, it's called Face the Wicked Problem. And this is, again, you sort of heard it in the first session when I was talking about how, all the news and all the stories and all that sort of feel so overwhelming, and all the problems we do face. If we come back to now, we were in that future for a second, but now we do have to come back to now because we are now and we do face these challenges. So what do we do? How can we, all the problems are gigantic, planetary scale. What do we do in that situation? And so the first thing we say is that we call what we face is a wicked problem. And you may have heard this term before, but what it really means is that the problem is so complex and interconnected that is impossible to fully understand. And that means we cannot approach it in the normal way. Because in the normal problems, you would let's understand what's going on. Let's figure out its root cause and let's deal with that. But the problems we face don't have a root cause. As you get deeper and deeper into this problem, you see more problems and more connections and more issues and more stuff. And it becomes actually an abyss that you can get lost in. And I see this happen to people. They want to do something and they start learning about things and then they just become so overwhelmed with everything. And so what's weird is that we can't approach this problem in that way. We have to approach it in a different way. And so what we say instead is that the wicked problem is a system problem. And that means that what we have to do instead is look at that system and push on that system. And we have to push everywhere at all scales all at once. But for people, for everybody here, that changes what you have to do then. You know, instead of you having to solve climate change or do that, instead what you have to do is you have to find the one place that you will push, the one place that you will work at. And so that's the next part of this. So the key thing here is that because it's a system, every place is important. The only way this system changes if all the pieces change at once. And so there's no difference, you know, all this, you know, no matter where you can act in your life is part of that system. And so therefore making that change there is essential. And the idea is you find your place, other people will find their place, and you all work in those places, you all build in those places, and we'll add them together. They will accumulate. And one day we'll look around and we say, wait, we did it. We got to the good future we just we wanted to create, that we just were imagining. And we won't know exactly when or exactly how, but we will have made it there. And so that's the next piece of finding the future. This is the next prompt. So write this down on your piece of paper. I'll put it in the chat as well. Okay. So this is where we go back to gallery again, because we have this moment to think about this. And the thing you can do is you just find one thing you want to work on. One thing you want to do that will help build this good future. The one thing that will get us one step closer. And whatever you choose is enough. Because as we said before, you can just do that piece and you find your piece and other people will find their pieces. And it's together that we get there. So you don't get stuck in this thing of, oh, I could do one more thing, or I could do one more thing, or I could do one more thing. Find your piece, the piece that will build that future. And that is all you need to do. So write down that on your piece of paper. And you could be already doing this. It could be something you want to do. It can be something that you don't know, but you want to know the area. So you write that down. So let's spend a minute doing that. Yeah, great. Mariana says, creating my local center for resilience at my home and my garden. If anybody else, again, this is where your chance to sort of hold it up and to go, to sort of hold up what you write down as well and speak it out. John says volunteering to aid the unhoused. Yep. Okay, John. Yeah. Yeah. So, what, John? You should speak it out. Speak it with your voice.
Building homes. Building homes.
Great. Okay. Who else? Who else has their one piece? And Scott says, Scott.
Scott says embodiment.
Very good. Yeah. Wonderful. Anamont says, reconnecting people to the fabric of their bodies, creation which is created together with the natural world and its elements. Mm. Mm. Okay. Anyone else? You have time for one or two more. Yeah. Getting others to buy into Anthropocene reversal, 0 degrees by 2125. Wonderful. Great. That's great, Shannon. So the key thing here is that we all can do this. We all can find that peace with what we have. And the key thing as well is you just act where you can. You have the sphere of your life. You have the world, the life you're leading. So act where you can, where you have the freedom. This is not about politicians. This is not about this is not about just voting. This is not about. This is just about. We all have space to do one thing, and finding that one thing helps us get to that good future because it's one more piece that we add into that system. Okay, so we're in our last bit, the last part is grow the future. And so, I've actually done what I want to do. I've collected your pieces. And so what you wrote down on your paper, what you wrote down in the comments, the idea is that's for you. Record it and then place your paper where you'll see it. Because the work we have to get to the good future will be long, it'll be hard. And when you see those cards again, when you see what you wrote down, you can be reminded why we're doing the work. Because we all believe that the good future is out there and we can all be building it. And you're joining this work that hundreds of thousands of people across the world are doing already as well. This is a project that is already in progress. It's already happening, and you are part of that. And we will get to that good future together. So that is that's finding the future. So let me share my screen again. But so we've gone through each of these phases, but you see, you can do it again. Just by hearing other people, we've learned more. We can see more about what the future is again. So now imagine maybe tomorrow you can come back and imagine the future again and find the future of your own once again. So I did want to say that we talked about the world story. And so what I'm doing actually is all the pieces that I got from you, I'm recording those. And I am actually starting to put together the Realitopia. So these are cards that I've already collected. And these are the connections between them. And the colors are actually the systems of the future that are already starting to come apart, sort of come into view. And so all the pieces that you gave today, all the pieces that I've done before, all the pieces that I will continue to get will all be added into this. And so you will see, in this thing, we will be able to see the regenerating world story, and that will be within the world story that is of all the other people that are out there. So this is how we add pieces together. What I see this as, this feels like a small thing, but imagine as we go to thousands and tens of thousands, we start really seeing what the future that we all want. So we will continue this tomorrow. We'll collect again. And then at the summit in Hopland, we'll have a reading of the story we've created together. And we will see the future coming into view. So I would love to see you there. And if you want to come again, please, the more pieces we add to this, the richer it'll become. So this is again my sort of contact information. I will be adding all the pieces that I just got in all these sessions. I'll add them to the Realitopia visualization. So if you want to see that when it comes in, you can see where it all sort of where all those the pieces that are around you, the other pieces of the future that you can build the story from for yourself. You can sign up and get that information. So thank you very much. That is Finding the Future, the first creation story for the Regenaissance, and we'll have more soon.
Thank you so much, Malcolm.
Thank you, Malcolm. Yeah. Some of you know me as Mariette, but I'm also here as Ruby. And so I would like to say that we were in the prep with Malcolm today, and there was something so amazing about having somebody blend the technology with just good old-fashioned paper. And he's bringing together yesterday and today in all these different and surprising ways. So thank you, Malcolm, for helping me get out a pen. Thank you. Thank you for helping us go through the spiral in this way that is actually, like Ms. Kanetha is saying, phenomenal. This is why we feel so alive when we get to be here and to help you bring these into the world. So nice round of more applause for you. Thank you. Engineer, futurist, dad. Really wonderful person.
Now I'm going to bring up Roxy, and we are going to get into a little forest or nature bathing now. But again, if I were going to say, what did everybody so far bring to us today? It's the gift of being embodied poetry, of seeing and respecting, like Kim was bringing us into AI, ways that it's not the technology, but it's what lies inside. Our stories come from all of these places, and we weave them together alone and in community. And we paint them. We paint them into futures that are just asking to have more vibrance, more saturation, more vistas, more color. So as we get in to our next little bit, I think we're going to hear some birds and have a little moment to take this all in. What'd you say, Rox?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yeah. These last few hours have been beautiful. And often inside of Regenera, it is awash with creativity and ideas and initiatives, and the streets are vibrant. And we wanted to invite you all to take a moment to have a little nature immersion from an audio perspective. And we're going to leave up a little inquiry so that while we take a little stretch and listen to the bird song before we have a facilitated Qigong session with Scott here in a little bit, we're going to have an inquiry up and we'll build a collective word cloud now that Malcolm has taken us into seeing and feeling our place in this world story to find the future. So I'm going to first share with you all a little piece of technology, speaking of technology, that we will be coming back to. And this is a really wonderful tool that we use here that we love. So this is great for anyone who's in the Zoom with us or online. Anyone can participate. There's a QR code. You go to ahaslides.com/RR26. And you can also, here, I'll make it really big, the QR code. And it will stay on the side, and we'll listen to some bird song here for a little while and invite you to share some words. And we will see through this collective word cloud what some of these gifts are that you are offering to shape a better tomorrow as we collectively find that shared future. So I see the little dots dancing, and feel free to also have this be a good time for a bio break, a little bit of introspection, and just like 5 to 7 minutes of nourishment as we literally build the field and we see together what we are weaving as a community that is gathered here in Regenera, because we are finding this good future. And with that, I will let the birds take the stage, and we will see what we've co-created dance on the screen. And then we'll come back for some Qigong to ground it all in. So we have just another few minutes of our little nature bathing. And since I promised nature bathing, I'm going to transition over to just playing a few minutes from our friend and partner, Louis Schwartzberg, who's an incredible director, directed Fantastic Fungi. So we have a bunch of his wonderful footage of nature. So we'll play a little bit of that. But before we do, I think it'd be just sweet to see kind of what's coming alive here. The words that are repeated most often become bigger. So it looks like gratitude and love and synergy and erotic aliveness have really grown, and joy. Solidarity comes up a lot. Persistence and compendence. Tree ships and possibility. There's a lot of love, better systems, animate matter, imagination, clarity, playfulness, devotion, empathy. Little free garden, enthusiasm, hope, equity, equality, vision, magic, cooperation, agape, peer-to-peer pollination, trust. Beautiful. Well, these last 2 minutes of our nature bathing time, I'm going to bring that nature bathing video up for everybody. And we've also been in the Design Science Studio this year with one of our dear friends, Tony Patrick, who's a very important and long-standing citizen of Regenera. We were doing some world building sessions together, and we realized that it really just felt like a hope bath. So as you take this last little bit of our nature bathing time, I want to invite you to let those words wash over you like a hope bath. And may they nourish you. And we will return on the other side and do some Qigong together. So grateful and delighted for that. Enjoy these beautiful scenes from our living world. Here we go.
I feel like I could just hang out there all day, floating above the beachfront in the clouds with the butterflies, watching mycelial magic unfold before my eyes. And in that spirit, I suppose, in that spirit of being deeply connected to the place that we stand, that feeds us and tends us, we're going to move into a bit of embodied practice now. For restoration and for grounding. And Scott, before I give the proper intro to you, can you remind me, your last name is pronounced Huddy? Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Great. Scott Edward Huddy is a civic educator, visual artist, and digital design strategist whose work bridges education, technology, and structural reform. A former senior instructor at the University of Oregon, Huddy pioneered student-centered systems emphasizing digital portfolios, creative entrepreneurship, and civic learning. His contributions to the Prosperity Loop bring a unique synthesis of aesthetic thinking and systems architecture, helping design policy frameworks that circulate value, regenerate communities, and uphold ecological boundaries. Whether through code, curriculum, or canvas, Huddy's work reflects a lifelong commitment to structures where people and the planet can thrive. And in this moment, he's going to invite us deeply into our bodies and into the extended aspects of ourselves as he leads us in Qigong circling hands.
Welcome, everyone. I'm grateful to be here. So all of that intro, I think the primary word there was circulation, which is what we're going to do today. We're going to play with circles. We're going to play with our energy. We're going to do some Qigong. We're going to move our hands around. So what I'd like everyone to do, if you're able, I'd encourage you to stand up. You can do this practice sitting down, but standing up, I think, is going to be more useful. I think it's gonna feel better. It's gonna do something more for you. On that, if you have shoes on, I'd also encourage you to take your shoes off and feel the ground. So I'm going to stand up as well. Chair out of the way. And we're going to start our circles. We're going to just rotate our hands. There we go. We're going to rotate our hands. Making circles with our hands and our wrists. And settling into our body. And go the other way. And then we'll make some circles with our arms, our forearms, and we'll rotate at the elbow. And then we'll switch directions. We're going to have to use some of our coordination today. We're going to use both sides of the body, both sides of the brain. And then let's rotate the full arm, some big arm circles. And the other direction. And then put your hands on your waist and on your hips and kind of bring your feet together, and we're going to circle the hips. A hula hoop. Round. Go the other direction. And then let's see if you can see. There we go. There's my knees. So we're going to rotate the knees. Put our hands on the knees. Kind of rotate. Be careful of the knees. We want to protect our knees. And then go the other direction. Making little circles. And then go ahead, rotate the feet. Kind of leave it on the ground, but I'll just raise it so you can see. And rotate the foot, the ankle. This gets the whole leg moving as well. And then we'll do the other one. One direction. Maybe rotate the other as well. Good. So we started with some circles. We've kind of warmed up a little bit, shake out. We're gonna circle our hands. And to start with, we want something between our hands to hold, to work with. And we're gonna work with our energy, our chi. And we wanna start by forming a chi ball. And the way we're gonna do this, what I'd like you to do to start with is chi is kind of this ephemeral thing that maybe we don't have direct sensation of. But what I'd like you to do is take the palm of your hand and kind of bring it over the back of your other hand. You can hold it there, move back and forth. You can come away, bring it towards the back of the hand. I want you to see if you can sense anything. If there's anything there. Kind of get in your mind what that means, maybe to the other hand as well. What that sensation might be. Lots of different things people feel or don't feel. It's fine either way. But some of those might be heat or coolness. Some people feel magnetism. There's other sensations, I'm sure, that people experience. So we got a kind of a sense there at the palms, kind of generating something. What we're going to do is we're going to form a ball, and I want you to feel between your hands that sensation that you felt on the back of your hand. You kind of just move the hands around, back and forth, forming a ball. You're imagining that ball there. Maybe you're feeling or sensing that ball, right? And that ball could be any size. It could be a small ball between your hands. Make you dizzy there. Could be a little larger ball. Be a big ball, bowling ball or a soccer ball. It might be a beach ball. You're going to play with that, get a sense of how that works for you. So form that ball. And now what we're going to do is we're going to circle that ball. So you're going to draw into your center and up and out and in and up and around. So we'll just go ahead and do that for a little bit here. And we're going to make 10 or 15 circles one direction. The whole time feeling that ball between your hands, rotating. And again, your ball might be small, it might be large. Your circles might be small, or they might be large. It's all about what you feel, what feels right for you. And we're going to rotate the other direction. Again, we're going to do a number of circles in this direction. Just getting a sense of our energy flowing up, in, down, and out, and up, in, down, out, and down. And then we'll bring the ball back to our center and settle down right there. And then what I'd like you to do is notice your hands and the sensations that you may or may not have in your hands. And again, running that hand over the back of your palm and seeing if that sensation has changed at all. Maybe you feel more, maybe you feel less. Maybe there's a sense of fullness or a sense of void. got a nice start. We're going to make some other circles, but I want another activity I'd like to show you with the hands is we're going to do pulsing, opening and closing of the hand. So to start, what I'd like you to do is just close and open, close and open. Do that with the other hand. I'm just going to close and open, close and open. So we got a sense of what opening and closing feels like, right? What I'd like us to do now is focus less on the fingers and more on the palm. And what we want to do is we want to open and close the palm. And so we're going to close the palm and then open the palm and close and open and close and open. We're going to do that with the other hand as well, right? So we want to close the palm and then open the palm and close and open and close. And we're pulsing the palm, we're pulsing the energy. And we're going to take both hands, we're going to open the palms and close the palms, opening and closing, opening and closing, pulsing the energy. Okay, and relax that. So what we're going to do now, instead of making a vertical circle, sagittal circle, we're going to do a horizontal circle. This time we're going to have the palms facing downward, and we're going to project from the center of the palm towards the ground. And we're going to, at the same time, we're going to open or close and open the palms. So the way this looks, and you're going to turn to the side as well. So to start, we're going to turn to one side, turn to the other. So to start, what we're going to do is just hold the palms about waist height, turn to one side, reach the palms out, turn to the center, turn to the other side, and draw the palms to the center, to the middle, to your waist, and then back to center. So we're going to turn, reach out, turn to center, turn to the side, draw in, turn to the center, turn to the side, reach out, center, side, into the center, and now we're going to make a circle. So we're kind of doing it linear there, just kind of get a feel. We're going to do a circle, so we're going to turn and reach out, and turn and draw in, and turn, making a circle, going in and out. And that center of that palm, you want a sense of kind of projecting downward to the ground, like you're drawing a circle on the ground. And if you can get the action going, you can open and close the palms, opening as you reach out, closing as you draw in. Opening and closing. Opening, closing. Circling, cycling, circulating, moving your energy in a circle. And then draw to the center and go the other direction. Out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. And on the last rotation, we'll just come back to center, palms at the waist. Just go ahead and let your palms face your belly. And again, noticing the palms any sensations you might have there. And then just let the hands settle. I'll just shake the legs. We had a vertical circle, both directions, and a horizontal circle, both directions. We're going to do a coronal circle in front of us. So again, kind of bringing the palms together, form that little ball. Maybe it's a big ball. Whatever size that ball is for you. And then we're going to take two halves, one in each palm, and we're going to face the hands out away from us. We're going to bring the palms down to the lower dantian, to the belly area. And turn to one side and reach up. Turn to the center and the other side and reach down. Back to center and to the side and up. And center, side, and down. And then we'll make that smoother and we'll reach up and turn, center and side, reach down, reaching and drawing down, making a circle in front of us. And if you get the action going, if you feel like you'd like to, you can start pulsing the palms. Reaching up and opening and down, closing, maybe the other way. Whichever way works for you. Opening and closing. And opening and closing. Going the other direction. Opening and closing. And opening, closing. We'll just keep doing that. A few more circles. You get that pulsing going. Letting it happen. Doesn't have to. Not important. Just another piece of the puzzle. And again, the circle we're making in front of us, it might be small. It doesn't have to be large. Just be a little circle. It could be down low. Could be up high. Could go the whole way. Just making that circle. And then we're going to come back to center. And I'm going to encourage you to have your palms facing your belly. So your lower dantian, the center of energy. It's where all the meridians of the body cross and connect. And if you can get that pulsing, or if you just feel like pulsing, just let that happen. And get a sense of absorbing your energy into your belly. Filling up, storing that energy for later. We have two other centers. Chi, the middle dantian is at the heart center. So you can bring your hands up to the heart center. And maybe that pulsing will happen again. Maybe it won't. But you can stand here with the palms facing the center, or the middle dantian, the heart center, energizing the heart, filling the heart with good chi, positive energy. And then there's also the upper dantian, the third eye. You can bring your hands up here. And again, you can pulse at the upper dantian. And one dantian may feel more expansive than another. One might pulse more or less than another. We're just bringing in good energy, filling the mind, our creativity on both sides with good positive energy. And again, just bringing the hands down to that lower dantian, filling our body with physical energy. Absorbing. And then just relax. Notice any sensations in your body, in your mind, any emotions, any thoughts. Just letting everything settle before you move away. Just do a body scan from the top of your head down to your shoulders, elbows, midriff, hands and wrists, hips, thighs, knees, calves, down to the feet, dropping any remaining energy down into the ground to be recycled and released. And then we'll just shake out, move around, shake the body, maybe tap a little bit, settle things down. And then we'll just come back to what is next. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Wow. The experience of circles is just a blessing. Yeah, Mariana said it too. What a blessing. So I don't know if anybody wants, but feel free to come off mute and just give a little thank you if you'd like to Scott.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
Thank you for bringing that embodiment of circle. And we talk about circle, we hold circle, we invite circle, and you brought it into our very fibers of our being, into our, into our energetic awareness. I wonder if there's just anything you want to say to help us close out about the power of the circle and this Qigong practice and how it helps you to shape the future.
What a lovely invitation. I don't know that I have words to bring to it. The circle goes round, right? And everything that goes out comes in. What comes in goes out. So I think just remembering to have gratitude, which is a practice I've been revisiting very much lately when my mind gets overactive, to just remember the gratitude that I have for the life that is available to me, to everyone in my life. So
thank you, Scott Huddy, for bringing us into your circle of gratitude. This is the art that changes history.
Please.
Thank you. Now, speaking of art that changes history, I believe we're going to have Roxy back up here. We're going to take a look at artifacts and invite you in to helping us create a design science studio artifact.
That's right. Okay, so we are in the process of co-creating and Interdependence Day edition of the Regenaissance Times. So, actually, I might invite our theater director up here. Theater director, I think we might need to do some exercises of theatrical creativity to get into our speculative practice. What do you think? What do you do?
Very good. Do you have any suggestions of what those? I don't know quite what the activity is that you're wanting us to engage.
Yes,
so
yes, I
give
can
me a
tell
little
you.
more context, and I'll be
Yes.
happy to help.
Well,
All
extra,
right.
extra, yeah. Tell us
Thank
something
you.
about it.
Very good. All right, Gio and Ruby. So, we have this newspaper. We're secretly, not so secretly, but secretly planning on having a distribution of the newspaper as a surprise that people know about if they're contributing to it. And this here, I can show you the thing. All right, here we go.
This is our circle of knowledge.
Here we are. You're part of the circle. So, we love a forum here in the world of Virginia. But in the spirit of collective imagination, at the precipice of looking, back 250 years, forward 250 years, we're in a very international community here. And the particular place that this newspaper is going to be distributed happens to be in the United States over the period of time when the country, I live here. I know you don't live here, but I live here when I'm not in the world of Regenera. That country is turning 250. It's a young sproutling of a thing. And so we're creating a bit of a dispatch. And so here we're going to be imagining or inviting remembered pasts, emerging presents, and regenerative futures. We're activating speculative journalism, civic imagination, world building, and design science to help document this artifact of worlds becoming possible. We're spelling it into being. And so this is the piece, right? Correspondents may submit on behalf of themselves, a collective, an institution, a watershed, a species, a future ancestor, an emerging possibility, or any other voice seeking publication in the Regenerate Times. So the reports may come from councils, guilds, assemblies, ministries, ecosystems, or even more than human communities. So I think in order to, because we're going to have some time to come together and actually start to create entries. They can be short, they can be long. We're gonna do it together, and we'll do this a little bit each day as an invitation for people to play. But I think there's a spirit that is required to cultivate some time when you're calling in a dispatch of some assortment, and so I thought it might be fun for our theater director of Regenera to help us, because who knows, the Starseed Pumpernickel or the Redwood Grove may need a little bit of lubrication to come through the portal of our imagination here. So that's that. There's lots of ways to submit. You could have a classified ad, an obituary, a cartoon, a poem. We recently received a Mad Lib that's quite good. Here, let me open that one. I thought that would be a fun one to show. Yes, this one here. This is a Mad Lib. Fill in the blanks and read your story about to a friend, a stranger, or future ancestor. In the year blank, humanity finally realized that, something surprising, was the key to creating a thriving future. The great transition began when a group of, plural noun, gathered in place and decided to replace something extractive with something regenerative. Soon, communities everywhere started practicing verb ending in ing, and some other things like this. So anyways, there's a Mad Lib. We've gotten some other quite good things, like some beautiful artwork from the past and the present and the future, speculative times, one of which is even from one of my favorite artists, but I won't spoil it until, well, we're there. So anyways, with that context, is that helpful for you to help us get the juices flowing, Gio?
Yes, I'm musing. So we are now going to begin writing this exercise?
Yes.
I shall consult my Ruby friends. to put on my thinking scarf, while Geo, you think of what we shall do.
Very good. So I'd like everyone to take a moment and imagine yourself at the editor's desk. In fact, let's make it a little less hierarchical. Imagine yourself as in the ancient days of being a newspaper crier, saying, hear ye, on the street corner. So I'd like you to envision yourself in the world of your specific arena of Regenera. Wonderful. We have everybody has the appropriate headwear. This is very good. I'd like you to take a moment to envision where it is that you stand in Regenera. Are you in a forest grove? Are you in a cascading stream? Are you atop a tall building? Are you gathered with your family? I would like you to take a moment and imagine where it is that you stand as you begin to get the first dispatch for a headline. And in the space of your own privacy, with your camera, with your audio muted, or in the space of your bravery, if you choose to unmute, I want to invite you to say, hear ye, and then just allow yourself to speak the first headline that comes to mind. Hear ye, the oldest living tree has just turned 10,000 years of age. Hear ye, an entire school of luminous tropical fish have arrived with their declaration for how best to care for our aquaculture across the world. Hear ye, what? Just take a moment to find the words for yourself. Ruby?
Hear ye. The sea turtles have taken over the administration of all corals.
Very good. If you have one to share, feel free to just come off mute and speak it into the collective.
Should we go into gallery mode?
Let us go into gallery mode.
All right.
There will be no space to hide from the coming informational future.
If you are so brave, come on camera.
Be brave with your headgear as well.
Just keep giving it a try. If you're just in your own space, keep trying out different headlines until one lands well enough that it wants to be spoken into the room. Kane, do you have one to share?
Hear ye, all billionaire bunkers have been turned into sprawling root cellars.
Yes.
Okay, I'm here. Does it work?
Hear ye. We hear rock in the call.
Oh, good. Good. They just fixed the internet at this place just like 5 minutes ago. We haven't had it for over a week, and it just torrential rain and boom, now it's fixed and now on the air.
Well, good to have you here, Rock. Do you have a news headline for us? Because we are in a news headline sharing activity.
Oh, Buckminster Fuller challenged all of us to make the world work. And I've been working on that. How do we meet that challenge? And I've been working on an idea for 50 years, and I want to share I want to show the gist of what I'm up to and how to answer Bucky Fuller's challenge.
So what would be the headline in the newspaper then?
Make the world work.
Hear ye.
Hear ye. Make the world work.
Yeah.
Oh, Scott, it looks like you've got your appropriate headwear on. Fabulous. It's very important.
Not essential, but it helps.
So I'll come back in 20 minutes before my slot. All right. Are
All
we
right.
done?
Sounds great, Rock.
We are
Okay.
alive. Thank you for your contribution, Rock.
All right.
See you in a
See you
little
in a
bit.
little while.
Rebecca, do you have a hear ye, hear ye?
Hear ye, hear ye. There are the last combustion engine car has just left the planet.
We're flinging our refuse into space in future Regenera land, or perhaps we found a portal that we can send all of our gas guzzling vehicles through.
The last one was dismantled for reclaiming of parts.
I like the idea that we might be sending them to another dimension, but using them here is probably a much more sensible choice. Dear Mistress Dandelion.
Yes.
In the invitation for people to transform this then into their own offering, how do they flesh it out then? It is a full article that we're inviting from everyone?
Yes, yes. So we have options here. So we've got the hear ye, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hear ye, all the billionaire bunkers have, turned into root cellars. Fabulous. And so then you get to decide, is this what kind of thing is it? Is it a weather report? Is it a celebration? Is it a breaking news?
Mine's an obituary.
Yours is an obituary. See, Rebecca, yours is an obituary.
Totally.
Definitely an obituary. We have to mourn, in a good way, what's dying, so that other things may be born. And then where is it coming from? So, it could come from the Cloud City of Regenera. It could come from the Watershed Assembly. It could come from a bioregion near you. And then now that you've identified where it's coming from, telling us when it's coming from is pretty important. Is this an announcement from the future or the past? Is it somewhere in between, or is it in the emerging present? If you know the year or the era, that's here. For just helping us.
Cool.
Isn't it so fun? I'm so excited. And just, generally understanding what themes may be connected to this. Perhaps it has to do with technology or reciprocity, maybe imagination or liberation. And then this is your submission. Here, this could be just a paragraph. It could be a whole essay. It could be a sentence. Sometimes obituaries or classifieds are this long in the newspaper. It could be quite short, which is why I wanted to give us an opportunity to do it together because, well, there's an awful lot of pages in newspapers. And this one doesn't have to be terribly long, but we certainly need more than the 5 submissions that we have so far in order to get it out into the world to represent our cultural moment here. So the last thing is this supporting materials. All this other stuff, these are optional. I should probably write that. But the supporting material might be an illustration. So for example, we have some that were sent in that are images of very special. Oh, those are, you didn't see those. Those are not being unveiled for some time. There's a very special installation that's going to be unveiled at our event all together in person here on the 4th of July weekend. But they just uploaded some images and told us what era they were from. So that's all we need truly is the text, the image, or a combination of both.
So, Ms. Dandelion, does this mean that really we're exiting the era of fake news into the world of speculative news?
Well, they say you are casting a spell when you spell, so we're doing a transition to a better world. And it requires us to get a little more articulate with what we're creating. So some might call it speculation, others might call it spell casting. All of these things are all within the realm of the regenerative times, for sure.
Grimoire of the Regenera. All right.
So this is a good time to write and to muse. I'm curious if while we're live here, if anyone wants to share a bit about what's coming through. But if not, I might put some more nature music and vibes back on so we have some creative space.
I think there is wisdom to that. And then perhaps after a little bit of musing time, people will have some musings to share.
Fabulous. I love this. Okay. Well then, for anyone out in the live stream, I've been getting some cute messages from people, which is really lovely. I will put the link up again here. The form link is just bit.ly/regeneratimes. And if you go to that, it goes to the form, and that form does have a link back to that document if you prefer to do it in a document and then copy it over. So I'm going to put on our beautiful nature vibes from our friend Louis, and we'll just have some time to work on our submission here for the regenerative times. And you're welcome to do more than one. And have fun. It's an invitation. How lovely. Thank you all for spending some time getting creative and working on your submissions for the Regenerate Times. I'm starting to see some pop in, which is so beautiful. And I'm actually going to take this opportunity to close the live stream and reopen it for our second segment, and then welcome our friend, also one of our partners, Amplifier Art, who's going to begin our next segment. So for anyone who is out there on the live stream on one of the 8 channels that we're streaming on, I invite you to come on in and play with us in the Vision Train. We are here for the rest of the day today and the next 2 days online for Regenera Rising. This has been our first of 2 segments of the Roots of Remembering, and we will be restarting the stream here in just a few minutes, and definitely hope that you join us live if you can, or tune back into part 2. So with that, I will pause and thank you, and we will see you more soon. Okay.